What is happening to America's farming industry, and why is John Deere, one of the most iconic names in agriculture, at the center of the crisis? The $34 billion farming industry in the United States is facing a perfect storm of economic downturns, declining crop prices, and growing tensions between farmers and major agricultural equipment manufacturers. For decades, John Deere has symbolized progress, efficiency, and cutting-edge innovation in farming, but today, it finds itself at the heart of an industry-wide struggle. Farmers across the country are grappling with massive financial setbacks, and as crop prices plummet, their ability to invest in new equipment is rapidly shrinking. This has sent shockwaves through the agricultural sector, causing job reductions, stalled equipment sales, and deep frustration among those who rely on John Deere machinery to sustain their livelihoods. But what exactly is driving this crisis? Is it purely an economic downturn, or are there deeper systemic issues at play? And more importantly, what does this mean for the future of American farming? In this deep dive, we break down the challenges threatening the foundation of agriculture and explore why farmers feel abandoned by the very industry that once supported them. One of the most immediate and devastating blows to both farmers and companies like John Deere is the dramatic decline in crop prices. Over the past few years, three of the most important crops grown in the United States, corn, soybeans, and wheat, have seen their market prices fall drastically. Since 2022, corn prices have dropped by 37%, soybean prices have fallen by 24%, and wheat prices have decreased by 35%. For farmers, these numbers are more than just statistics. They represent shrinking incomes, rising debts, and an increasing struggle to stay afloat. When crop revenues decline, farmers are forced to cut back on spending, which directly impacts the agricultural equipment market. Instead of purchasing new tractors, harvesters, or other machinery, many farmers choose to repair and maintain their older equipment for as long as possible. This has led to a steep decline in demand for new farming machinery, leaving manufacturers like John Deere struggling to maintain sales and profitability. The economic uncertainty has put pressure on both farmers and equipment suppliers, creating a ripple effect throughout the entire industry. Looking ahead, the situation shows no signs of improvement. Commodity experts predict that crop values will continue to fall, with projections indicating a further 12% drop in overall crop prices by 2024. Corn prices alone are expected to decline by an additional 17.9%, adding even more financial strain to farmers who are already struggling to make ends meet. But what is causing these sharp declines? The answer lies in a combination of global market shifts and unexpected developments in agricultural production worldwide. For years, experts believed that global population growth, especially in countries like China, would lead to increased demand for American agricultural exports. However, this prediction has proven largely inaccurate. Rather than relying on imports, China has aggressively developed its own agricultural industry, investing billions in modern farming technologies, advanced irrigation systems, and high-yield crop varieties. Through its ambitious 13th Five-Year Plan for Agricultural Science and Technology Development, China has transformed itself into a self-sufficient agricultural powerhouse. As a result, instead of importing vast amounts of crops from the United States, China is now producing a surplus and flooding global markets with its own exports. This has driven down prices even further, putting American farmers at a severe disadvantage. At the same time, Chinese agricultural equipment manufacturers have emerged as major competitors to American giants like John Deere. These companies are offering high-quality machinery at significantly lower prices, making it harder for U.S. manufacturers to maintain their dominance in the market. With China's agricultural equipment sector projected to grow from $24.13 billion in recent years, the competition is only intensifying. The rise of foreign competitors highlights a broader issue. The global agricultural landscape is changing rapidly, and American farmers are struggling to keep up. As innovation, market competition, and economic pressures continue to reshape the industry, traditional farming communities are being forced to adapt, or risk being left behind. But the crisis facing American agriculture is not just about global competition or falling crop prices. Many farmers argue that John Deere itself has contributed to their struggles by making it increasingly difficult for them to repair their own equipment. This issue has become a major point of contention, as more farmers find themselves at the mercy of restrictive repair policies that limit their ability to fix broken machinery. One farmer who has experienced this firsthand is Walter, a third-generation Montana rancher who raises registered Black Angus cattle and produces roughly 1,000 tons of hay per season. Like many farmers, Walter once trusted John Deere equipment to help him manage his operations efficiently. But when his tractor suddenly began shutting down at random, he found himself in a frustrating and costly situation. Believing the problem might be related to the fuel system, Walter replaced the fuel filter, but the issue persisted. Desperate to get his tractor running before a pending rainstorm ruined his hay crop, he reached out to his local John Deere dealer for help. To his surprise, he was told that he could not rent or borrow the diagnostic equipment needed to identify the problem. Even worse, he was informed that a mechanic would not be available to inspect his tractor for at least a week. With no way to access the proprietary software required to fix his own machinery, Walter was left stranded, watching his livelihood suffer while he waited for a technician to arrive. Walter's experience is not unique. Across the country, farmers have expressed growing frustration with John Deere's restrictive repair policies, which prevent them from performing basic maintenance on their own equipment. Unlike older tractors, which were entirely mechanical and could be repaired using standard tools and expertise, modern John Deere machines rely heavily on specialized software. This software is locked behind proprietary systems that only authorized dealerships can access, meaning farmers must rely on John Deere technicians for even the simplest repairs. The result? Sky-high repair costs, lengthy delays, and a complete lack of autonomy for farmers who have traditionally been self-reliant. For many, the inability to repair their own equipment is more than just an inconvenience, it's an existential threat to their livelihoods. The cost of repairs has skyrocketed, with simple fixes often totaling thousands of dollars. In some cases, farmers report spending nearly half of their monthly income on repairs alone, leaving them financially strained and unable to invest in necessary upgrades or improvements. The frustration has led to increasing calls for right-to-repair legislation, which would require manufacturers like John Deere to provide farmers with the tools and software needed to maintain their own equipment. However, despite mounting pressure, the company has resisted these efforts, arguing that its proprietary technology must remain protected. As the farming industry continues to navigate these challenges, the stakes could not be higher. The crisis facing John Deere and the broader agricultural sector is not just about declining sales or restrictive repair policies, it's about the future of American farming itself. With global competition intensifying, crop prices continuing to fall, and repair costs becoming a major financial burden, farmers are being pushed to their breaking point. Many are being forced to make difficult decisions, cutting back on operations, taking on additional debt, or even leaving the industry altogether. The consequences of these struggles extend far beyond individual farmers. They impact the entire agricultural supply chain, from food production and distribution to rural economies and local communities. Ultimately, the survival of America's farming industry depends on addressing these pressing issues. Whether that means implementing fairer repair policies, supporting domestic farmers against global competitors, or finding new ways to stabilize crop prices, action is needed before the situation worsens. Farmers like Walter, who have dedicated their lives to working the land and feeding the nation, deserve better than to be left struggling against a system that seems increasingly designed to work against them. The future of American farming is uncertain, but one thing is clear: without meaningful change, the challenges facing farmers today could reshape the industry in ways that will be felt for generations to come.